Hi, I'm Zillennial Nexus. You might remember me from such YouTube videos as the one where I talked about how it took me over a year to work up the nerve to ask a girl out back when I was in college. Spoiler alert, she said no. What if I told you I had another crush during the summer between junior and senior years of college, which was when I was psyching myself up to ask out primary college crush. One I probably had a way better chance with, and I never even tried. Before I tell you the story about how 7 years ago I could have tried with a different college crush than suffered from oneitis and focused too much on the original one, be sure to give this video a like, comment what you think about all this, and make sure to subscribe for cultural commentary and rants from a man caught between generations. Last but certainly not least, feel free to join me at the Zillennial Nexus Point Discord. Link will be in the description below. Anyway, this story has been on my mind because last month it officially became 7 years since that summer. That's the same amount of time as the time jump from young Link to adult Link in Ocarina of Time. 7 years feels like a checkpoint to me, in my personal opinion. I consider that a significant passage of time, and lately I've been replaying the choices I made back then. So it all began in June of that summer when I started an internship at a public access TV station. This is the internship I did to try to get ahead on the whole TV concentration, or rather, it was to refresh my memory. I worked Tuesday and Thursday nights and then Friday afternoons. Friday afternoons is where I met her. She wasn't from my college, she was going to a different one, but she became this other crush who, in hindsight, was probably the better opportunity. And the reason I probably didn't go for it was because I was 21 at the time and I was really focused on original college crush. The relaxed environment of an unpaid internship gave us more chances to talk. I barely saw original college crush outside of class, which should have been the first red flag right there. But with other college crush, we had a little more time to just talk, which is how I learned that she was 3 years older than me. So at the time, I was 21, she was 24. I don't recall if she said she took a gap year or not. Again, it's been 7 years. But yeah, what I remember from that time is that she gave off little signals like playing with her hair and other small behaviors I noticed because I had watched a lot of pick up women bruh videos that explained behaviors like the playing with her hair. Something about trying to make herself look a little more presentable. Look, I know that these days that's not 100% reliable, and honestly, these days, I don't care as a sober cell. I need to know, are you on the same page as me when it comes to alcohol? Yes or no? Yes? Alright, you are romantically viable in my opinion. Oh, you're not? Bye. So, the internal conflict of July and the majority of August was whether to ask for her number on the last day of my internship or wait until after. Well, afterward we would have is when I would have asked her out because she was moving into the city. She would have been a lot closer than where she commuted from. But what kind of made me a lot more hesitant was when I found out my aunt was terminally ill. Yeah, for about 2 weeks that August. I think I'll do a separate video on this, but I went through the experience of my aunt slowly dying of late stage cancer. So basically, for about those 2 weeks, I would visit my grandparents' house where she had been living and which was now basically the home hospice, if you will. Yeah, I kind of didn't want to ask out college crush because I had that going on, so I didn't want to bring her into that, I think. Anyway, I focused more on the wedding. My uncle on my dad's side in upstate New York. I brought that up quite a bit at the internship. This one politician guy, I forget exactly what he did, but he actually helped me write the introduction for my aunt and uncle as, well, my uncle and the woman who was at that point my aunt, because she was now legally married to my uncle. So yeah, I focused on that. I kept the terminally ill aunt to myself for those 2 weeks of doing the internship. And then eventually I went to the wedding in upstate New York, and then literally when I got back from the wedding into the hotel room, we found out that my aunt on my mom's side had died. Because this was my aunt on my mom's side who was terminally ill and then passed away. And this was my uncle on my dad's side in upstate New York who was getting married. So I gained an aunt and lost an aunt in the same day. But yeah, after the wake and funeral, I did my final 2 shifts at the internship, even though I was way ahead on the number of hours that I needed. What mattered was I got those 2 credits. So on that final day, I did admit the truth about my aunt, said goodbye to other college crush, and then defaulted back to primary college crush, who ended up rejecting me months later. Yeah, I could have at least kept in touch with other college crush, asked for her number, lined up another option. Like, that would have been a decent idea. But no, I had oneitis, and I just had to ask out who I originally had a crush on. 7 years later, thinking about Myron Gaines's more experience mantra, that's kind of what has me thinking about that as well. To be clear, I don't agree with his do it with 50 women before settling nonsense, but I do see the truth in needing some experience. With other college crush, I missed a clean opportunity for some real dating practice. And I mean actual dating, not just the deed. So, would it have even worked out? Well, maybe not, especially with my anti alcohol position. I was a little more relaxed about it at 21, but I never even knew if she drank, and I didn't ask at the time, and I never bothered to stay in touch afterwards, so who knows? At worst, I would have tried, gotten some experience, and eventually moved on faster from primary crush or given up on primary crush because I should have realized that it was over for me when we barely spoke outside of class. Oh, it is what it is. Anyway, today I stand firm as a sober cell. I will not date a woman unless I know that she matches my views on alcohol 100%. Okay, maybe she doesn't have to take it to the same extreme as will not have a party in my name if there's alcohol there. I will not date a woman who drinks. End of discussion. The regret isn't about wanting her today. I made my choices. It's about missing the practice reps. Not in the way that Myron Gaines would say that you need. That I'm sorry, but saying you need to sleep with at least 50 women before settling. I'm sorry, that's overkill and very good way to catch an STD. I doubt other college crush and I would have lasted, but hey, a little practice wouldn't have hurt. 7 years later, I can't help but wonder how different things might have been if I'd asked her out. Maybe she wouldn't have been on the same page with alcohol, but still, what do you think? Was I right to stay locked on primary college crush to still have to let oneitis get to me? Or should I have taken the chance with other college crush and learned my lesson earlier. You let me know in the comments. Be sure to also give this video a like if you enjoyed it. Subscribe for cultural commentary and rants from a man caught between generations. And last but certainly not least, feel free to join me at Zillennial Nexus Point Discord. Link is in the description below. Thanks for watching. I'll see you soon.